Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a fabulous Wednesday. Today I have a really quick review on the Chanel Classic Ballerina flats. I've been getting a lot of questions on them lately, so I figured why not do a video so I can give you a little bit more information, especially if you're thinking about adding them to your wardrobe. As always, when it comes to my reviews, I will give you a quick overview of the items, some pros, some cons, recommendations, and then at the very end I will incorporate mod shots so you can see what they look like on me. So without further ado, let's get started. Before I forget, the pricing on the Ballerina flats is from $750 to $975 here in the States. They have an array of different colors to choose from and different textures. You can end up going for the classic colors such as the beige and the black, or you can end up going for the seasonal colors. And as far as the textures go, you can go for lambskin such as the ones that I have here, or you can go for patent leather, you can go for tweed, velvet. I mean, there's just so many different types of textures to go for, so many different types of variations. So they really end up suiting any type of lifestyle. Now I also wanted to mention that these are available in two different widths. The widths are B and C, B being an average, an average type of foot, and you will always see that the B doesn't have any lettering, so it'll just have the regular sizing on here. If I had a little bit of a wider foot, I would end up going for C, and that way you will end up seeing the C right after the sizing on the Ballerina flats. So I thought that I would mention that. I know that some boutiques don't carry the C width, but it's just a matter of being able to order them, or just ask your sales associates if you are unsure. Now let me just bring these up a little bit closer so you can see them. They are very, very simple. Like I said, both of mine are lambskin leather. The first one with the beige detail, so it has the beige lambskin. You have this beautiful bow at the front that I really, really like. Very, very dainty. And then you have double CC kind of stitched on the cap toe. Now the cap toe can sometimes vary. Sometimes it's a little bit of a contrast, such as it is here with the beige, or sometimes it's a little bit more uniform, like here with the black. And on the black ones, I actually have a black patent cap toe versus lambskin. But like I said before, they have so many different variations, so many different styles to choose from. But back to these, so you have the double CC, you have the bow, and then there's a side view of them, there's the back view, there's another side view, and then the heel, I also wanted to mention, is 10 millimeters or 0.4 inches high. There we go. And then on the bottom, these have leather soles. So it really adds to the comfort of the shoes in my opinion. So these are very soft leather, and then these are a little bit shinier. It won't, I mean, maybe you can't notice them because I've used them so much. But there you go. And you can really see how much wear they have. And then on the inside, they are leather lined. You have to excuse me, these are a little bit dirtier. So let's just use these. So they are leather lined. Again, it adds to the comfort of these shoes. On to the pros. When it comes to these shoes, I definitely feel that they have more pros than cons. The first pro being the design. I absolutely love the simple, the sleek, the clean design that they have. They've been around for a very, very long time, so they're doing something right. But I feel that because of the design that they have, the simplicity just ends up speaking volumes. You don't need a bunch of bells and whistles. It has just a very dainty bow that I feel it just really amplifies the beauty of this shoe. And I feel that it's the type of shoe that will never go out of style, as I mentioned, because they've been around for so long. So I do love the design. Another pro that I'd have to say is how well these transition from day to night. So let's say that you're wearing them to work, and let's say after work you're meeting up with friends, you're going on a date, you're going, you're going out for drinks or something to that effect. The fact that you can go from one setting into the other setting almost seamlessly with these shoes is amazing. I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to switch out my shoes sometimes. Call it laziness, call it what you will, but sometimes I don't want to have to do it. And I sometimes don't want to have to carry another pair of shoes in my car. The only pair of shoes that I mostly carry in my car are flip-flops, and really, I mean, that's just flip-flops, but that's neither here nor there. But I don't want to have to switch out my shoes if I'm going from work into going out for drinks or going out with friends or anything like that. So the fact that you can end up going, like I said, from one setting to the other very, very easily, I think adds to how great these are to be able to incorporate them into any type of lifestyle. And kind of speaking on that same thing about being able to incorporate them into your lifestyle, another pro that I'd have to say is how versatile they are. A lot of you know I talk about versatility often on my channel. Versatility is not only important with handbags and small leather goods, it's also important to me with shoes, especially for the price point that these have. So for me, the fact that I can end up wearing them with everything and anything in my wardrobe, I just feel that it makes the shoe even that much better. So whether you are the type of person that's you know, that you always end up looking a little bit more formal. You go for a little bit of a, you know, a little bit more of a dressed up look, or whether you're someone like me who's very, very casual, these go with anything. I mean, anything. I've worn them with shorts. I've worn them with, a beautiful little black dress. It all depends. But when it comes to fashion, there are no rules. You know what I mean? So I do love that. And I feel that because of the versatility that they have and because of how well they transition, the cost per wear ends up being extremely low. And like I said before, because of the price point that they have, I want to make sure that I'm incorporating them into my lifestyle as much as possible. Another pro that I'd have to say, for me anyways, it was the break-in period. And I know that's not always the case when it comes to ballerina flats. But for me, a lot of you know that, you know, kind of talking about the whole thing that I'm a very casual dresser. I wear sneakers, slides, sandals. I don't really end up going for heels. But when it comes to ballerina flats, sometimes it can be a little tricky. I don't know if maybe my foot's not used to it. I have no idea. But I was prepared for the break-in period to be a couple hours, a couple days. I know some people have said that sometimes it takes them a few weeks. But I was prepared. Nonetheless, I was just kind of like, okay, it is what it is, you know, it's going to be bad. How bad is that I'm saying that? But it's true. Now, the break-in period with these was 5 minutes, at most 10 minutes. It blew my mind because I was ready. I was prepared for it to take a very long time. And to be honest, I feel that the break-in period was so short because these are lambskin, and I will talk about that in just a second. So I feel that because they are the lambskin leather, they were able to just kind of form to my foot a little bit quicker. And now it's to the point where I can wear these for 8, 9, 10 hours without a problem. They don't end up hurting my feet. I don't get blisters or anything like that. And I never got blisters in the beginning either. So it made me really, really happy. And the last pro that I'd have to say is how incredibly comfortable they are. To be honest, I never thought in a million years that those words would come out of my mouth when it comes to talking about ballerina flats. I thought that they would be maybe a little bit too tight, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, or something like that. But the fact that these are so comfortable, the fact that I can get away with wearing them for 8, 9, 10 hours, as I mentioned, just really makes me incredibly happy. And I know that it's that type of shoe that I end up gravitating towards when I don't want to wear sneakers, when I don't want to wear flip-flops or sandals or anything like that. So I just love, I love so many different details about these. The design, the comfort level, the transitioning from day to night, the versatility. I just feel that these shoes, as I mentioned before, have so many pros compared to the cons. So there we go. Now, when it comes to the cons of these shoes, it's actually something to keep in the back of your mind. As I mentioned at the beginning, these are available in various types of textures, velvet, tweed, patent leather, lambskin leather, what have you. But I have noticed that if you end up going for the lambskin leather, they end up just kind of wrinkling to the point where it almost looks like the shoe has aged a lot more than you would, than you would assume. So let's say that you've had this shoe for 3-4 months and you end up using it continuously, it almost looks like it ends up just wearing very quickly just because of the type of structure that they have. They don't really have a lot of support in there, even though they are leather lined, as I mentioned. So the fact that these will end up just kind of getting very wrinkled, they'll end up showing the wear that they have because of the lambskin leather. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. So let me just show you guys here. You can really see I have a couple little lines here. Not too bad considering I've worn these a lot more than the beige ones. And then this back side looks pretty good. But then when you go into the beige pair, you can really see, and let me see if I can tilt it at an angle so you can check it out. It has a lot of veins right here. A lot of it has to do with, just like I said before, the lambskin leather that they are. So if you end up going for patent leather, I feel that sometimes those age a little bit better just because you don't have the softness. You don't have you don't really have any type of, protectant over the leather that the patent leather has versus this one. It's just the lambskin leather and it is what it is. You know what I mean? It'll just start to wear. You'll really be able to see the wrinkles here. There you go. You can see them a little bit better right there. And you can see the wrinkles right there. Is that a lost cause? Can you guys see the wrinkles? But it's just something to note when it comes to the lambskin. Like I said, a lot of people end up going for the tweed. A lot of people end up going for other leathers just because of how just because of how the lambskin ends up wearing over time. So that's one con that I had to mention. Another con when it comes to the lambskin that I thought I would talk about as well is the fact that you definitely don't want to wear these when it's raining, when there's drizzle or anything like that, because lambskin leather is very unforgiving. If you do get a water stain on here, you can't lift it out. I know I've had some water stains on some of my espadrilles. I was devastated, but you know, it is what it is. So I've been very fortunate that I haven't had any water stains when it comes to the ballerina flats. It would be a lot easier to hide in the black ones than the beige ones. Now for recommendations. When it comes to these shoes, they will definitely end up stretching out. When you go to put them on, when you go to the boutique, you want to make sure that they are snug, not to the point where they are cutting off your circulation or where you feel that you're going to have any types of blisters, but you also don't want them to be a little too loose. You don't want them to just kind of fly off or anything like that, because as you end up wearing them, they will end up just stretching out a little bit more. So if they are snug, like I said, to the point where it's okay, it might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but once you start wearing them, it'll just be, it'll end up forming to your foot very, very nicely. Now, some of the boutiques end up offering to stretch them out. You know, when it comes to stretching out these shoes, it's a little tricky, only because if you end up getting them professionally stretched out, it might end up being a little too much, and then when you go to wear them, as you end up wearing them, as I mentioned before, they'll end up stretching out even more, to the point where they might be a little too loose. So if you want to break them in, I would always recommend going the other route as far as wearing socks, or I know some people have stretched these out with shoe trees. I know two of my girlfriends have said that. I don't know how they did it, but they did. But just something to where it's not as intense of a, you know, as intense to be able to stretch them out as going the professional route. So like I said, the socks or using a shoe tree or something like that might be a little bit better, so that it ends up forming to your foot, you know, just that much easier. Something else that I wanted to know about these shoes is that my sales associates informed me that if you end up going for the quilted version, they do have, it's almost like an aged leather, and it has quilts. They're beautiful. If you end up going for the quilted version, or if you end up going for the patent leather version, those end up taking a little bit longer to break in, only because of the detail that they have. So I did try on the quilted version, and I try to get away with it. I tried on the 40. I do wear 40s in the Chanel ballerina flats. I am a 9 here in the US, so I ended up having to go up a size. But when I tried on the quilted one, it was just way too tight. I knew that the blisters were going to be there even before I had to step foot around the boutique. And when I tried to go for the 41, it was just, there was no way. It was way too loose. So I'm right in the middle. You know, it's kind of a bummer, because I really do like the quilted version, but she said that those seem to run a little bit smaller. Same with the patent leather, because of the detail that the leather has on top of it. So I thought that I would mention that as well. But when it comes to the ballerina flats, or any shoes in general, I always recommend going into the boutique and trying them out, because, you know, sometimes it can vary. Even if you are, let's say that you're a 40 like myself in the ballerina flats, there might be one instance where the ballerina flat in the color that I'm looking for, or the design that I'm looking for, I might end up having to go into a 41. I might end up having to go into a 39. It all depends. Even if it's the same type of shoe, it can always vary. So you want to make sure that you go into the boutique and you try them on for yourselves, just to see how they feel. And everyone will be different. Some people have longer toes, shorter toes. Some people have a wider foot, more narrow foot, and they don't offer half sizes. So I think that if they offer the half sizes, they might be a little bit easier to figure out which, you know, what size is you. But nonetheless, you know, don't lose hope. It's just a matter of finding the right fit for you. So I thought that I would just, you know, share that as well, because I feel that with shoes, especially as I mentioned with the price point, it can be really tricky, and I feel that it can be a little bit overwhelming when you go into the boutiques as well. I also thought that I would mention very quickly that my sales associate said that you can have them resold. I said, what if I just, you know, try to get them protected now? And she actually recommended that I use the shoes for a couple of months or even a year before I go back into the boutique to get them resold. And as you can see, the black pair, as I mentioned, is the one that I use the most. You can see quite a bit of wear here. But I know that if you end up getting them through Nordstrom's, through Saks, or through Neiman's, you can also take them into the department store and they can resole them for you. So this goes back to the whole thing. I mean, you could wear these shoes forever and a day. If you end up getting the soles taken care of every time, I mean, these shoes can go for many years, so that makes me very happy. So do I recommend these shoes? When everything's weighed in the balance, and even though the lambskin leather might end up wearing the way that it does, or the fact that it gets water stains, or the break-in period might be a little bit longer depending on the texture that you go for when it comes to these shoes, I feel that the pros definitely outweigh the cons. The fact that, number one, they are incredibly comfortable. The fact that they transition very easily from day to night. The fact that these are very versatile. And, you know, for me, being the casual dresser that I am, I want to be able to incorporate them as much as I can. And the fact that I can do that really makes me happy. So I most certainly recommend them 100%, whether you go for, you know, for the classic colors, whether you go for seasonal colors, whether you go for a different texture. I think that there's something about them. There's a type of beauty that they have, and I most certainly love the fact that they can amplify any type of outfit that you're wearing, or they can just really add to the overall look that you're going for. So yes, 100% recommend them. All right, you guys, so that does it for my review on the Chanel Ballerina flats. I hope I was able to help. I hope I was able to give you a little bit more information. That way you can decide whether or not these shoes are for you. And don't forget, I will be including mod shots at the end of this video, and for reference, I am a 9 in the US when it comes to shoes, and I'm a size 40 or a 10 when it comes to the Ballerina flats. And I think that what I will do, I will include a shot of like a point of view shot, and I will also do one face forward so you can see how they look on me as well. So thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button down below and hitting that bell so that you're notified when I upload videos, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. And I will possibly see you guys later this week. I have something so exciting to share with you, and yeah, so hopefully that ends up working out. But as always, you guys, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day. All right, so here's the up front view. There's a side view and another side view. Very comfortable. Alright, so here's the point of view shot that I want to share with you guys. There's the black and then the beige. I feel that the beige kind of complements my legs a little bit better. Don't make fun of my tan lines, alright? I know I have bad tan lines. I wear sandals way too often. But there we go. You can see them a little bit better.